Pons is a 2.5 centimeter long middle part of the brainstem. It extends and continues superiorly as the cerebral peduncles, inferiorly as the medulla oblongata. It is related anteriorly with the clivus, laterally with the middle cerebellar peduncles, and posteriorly to the fourth ventricle. The pons has two surfaces, anterior or ventral and posterior or dorsal. The anterior surface is biconvex in both the directions. Apart from these, the anterior median fissure forms a deep sulcus termed the basilar sulcus, which lodges the basilar artery, formed by the fusion of the two vertebral arteries. Apart from these, the anterior surface also shows transverse striations of white matter fibers. Laterally, these fibers continues and merges with the middle cerebellar peduncle. The pons and medulla forms the pontomedullary junction, which is of greater significance for the root origins and emergence of three cranial nerves, that is 6th, 7th, and 8th. The fifth cranial nerve or the trigeminal nerve is special and arises from the upper end of pons. The internal structures of the pons can be divided into two parts, ventral part and a dorsal part. The ventral part is mostly composed of white matter fibers, wherein they run transversely towards the middle cerebellar peduncle. In between these fibers, apart from these transverse white fibers, there are certain longitudinal white fibers as well. These involve the fibers moving downwards to form the pyramids, that is the corticospinal, corticobulbar, and the corticopontine fibers. The transverse fibers so forms the corticopontine cerebellar pathway. This ventral part in whole is termed the basilar part. The dorsal aspect of the pons differs from lower pon and the upper pon. This is the section of the lower pon. The dorsal part is also termed the tegmental part. As we know, the central grey matter was demolished in the upper parts of medulla oblongata. As a result, the pons or the lower part of the pons has scattered grey matter segments. These involve the continuation of the grey matter for spinal tract of trigeminal nerve, the grey matter for facial nerve, the grey matter for abducens nerve, and of course the vestibular cochlear segments, which comprises of the dorsal and the ventral cochlear grey matter and the inferior and the medial vestibular nucleus. These forms the major scattered grey matter nuclei. The superior olivary nucleus is a special addition. The white matter in the lower pons has special additions alongside the medial lemniscus. The medial lemniscus are connected via a cross-formed trapezoid body. This is further formed in the retinacular formation formed by the vestibulocochlear system. The superior cerebellar peduncles form the lateralmost aspect of the pons in the white matter. The floor of the fourth ventricle is so formed by the posterior aspect or the tegmental part of the pons. Apart from these, it comprises of the medial longitudinal bundles and emerging fibers of facial nerve and the abducens nerve. Abducens nerve has a direct origin, whereas a facial nerve has a peculiar part encapsulating the abducens nerve nucleus. This forms a particular impression over the posterior aspect termed the facial colliculi. The lateral spinothalamic tract occupies a position just lateral to the medial lemnisci. So as the picture suggests, we have the medial lemniscus connected by the trapezoid body, which carries sensory informations via fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus. We have the lateral spinothalamic tract carrying sensations of pain and temperature. We have the superior cerebellar peduncles and the reticular formation of the pons, all in the white matter. The ventral aspect of the pons is similar throughout, hence the basilar part is not changed even in the upper pons. It is a dorsal or the tegmental part which has significant changes. In the grey matter of the dorsal segment of the upper pons, we'll only find two specific grey matters. That involves the motor nucleus and the sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve and their emerging fibers. Other features of the dorsal part of the upper pons involves enlarged middle cerebellar peduncles, two posterior superior cerebellar peduncles, and a superior medullary velium in which, bounded by the posterior aspect of the upper pons, is the fourth ventricle. At the vicinity of the fourth ventricle, we'll find the medial longitudinal bundles. Apart from these in the white matter, it has a particular course. Medially arranged, there will be medial lemniscus, and in a pattern moving as MTSL are the medial lemniscus, the trigeminal lemniscus, the spinal lemnisci, and the lateral lemnisci. Pontine hemorrhage is a clinical condition majorly resulting in damage to the retinacular formation of the pons. Apart from these, nerve fibers 7 is involved, that is facial nerve, which results in loss of bilateral movement of face and the limbs involving the seventh nerve. Apart from these, since the spinal lemnisci or the spinothalamic tract has been compromised, hyperpyrexia is a common condition as these carry the pain and temperature fibers. Sympathetic ocular fibers in the reticular formation are damaged. As a result, pinpoint pupil is a classic condition. The cerebellopontine angle is the angle between the cerebellum, and the pons, and it marks the junction of the anterior side of the pons with the lateral aspect. Due to certain tumors, compression, or necrosis of the following shaded region, a syndrome termed as a cerebropontine angle syndrome occurs. Due to damage involved in the facial nerve, there is ipsilateral loss of facial expression. Due to damage to the vestibulocochlear nerve, there is impairment of balance and auditory impulses. Ataxia of the affected side is due to involvement of the flocculus. The Millard-Guber syndrome occurs in the following area. Occurs due to the lesion of these areas involved, involving damage to the facial nerve, to the abducens nerve, resulting in loss of abduction of the eye, damage to the medial lemniscus, and due to damage of corticospinal and corticobulbar tracts, damaging the pyramids. As a result, contralateral hemiplegia, since they cross at the lower medulla, contralateral hemiplegia is experienced.